Hello, everyone. This is Colin McGettigan. Just wanted to go over some training in Salesforce for you guys. As you're used to getting, Lucia has been sending out a weekly email that has been going over small little tidbits of Salesforce information. So we originally launched it thinking the most important thing to go over was the opportunity record in Salesforce, because that's what most of you are using on a day-to-day basis and what we are mainly tracking. So her weekly emails have been short and concise and able to really focus on the importance of each of these individual fields. And hopefully you've been able to read through those, get a better understanding and the importance of why you're actually using those fields. And so I just want to take the time today to answer any questions, to go through each of her emails and really just make you comfortable with using the tool better. So with that, on my screen here, you'll see an opportunity. Let me zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to go through each of the fields that were in Lucia's emails. So the first one that we started with, and everyone I know is familiar with opportunities, you have to be using them. So you know how to access this page and get here. The first one we're going to go over is the projected close date and why this is important and why you need to keep it as accurate as possible. So in our reporting that I run for your pipelines, 30-day, 90-day, full pipelines, it's taking all of your opportunities and it's looking at this projected close date. So if this close date's in the past, it's never going to be picked up in any of your pipeline reporting. If it's going to close within the next 30 days, it's going to then fall within when I run a 30-day pipeline. So you want to make sure this is accurate. You don't want it too far out because it's not going to be picked up. Again, like I said, the 30 and 90-day pipelines. But you also don't want it to be within the next week if it's really not going to close then, because then we're expecting it to close and you have to keep pushing it out. So just want to reiterate the importance. A lot of our reporting is based on this field. The next email that was sent out was based on the stage. So why is the stage important? We have, let me click the edit button and the drop down. These are the different stages in Salesforce. As you know, you always create the opportunity on the qualifying stage. What's important here and what I really want to stress is once you create the opportunity, you're going to save it in qualifying, add your contact, and then as you work the opportunity, you want to make sure you're coming in and updating the stage to the proper. The reason is, in my pipeline reporting, I'm taking these different buckets and saying how much pipeline do we have in discovering versus proposing versus closing. I don't count in my qualified pipeline any deals that are marked qualifying, so that's an important distinction. If you're just creating all your deals and qualifying and just leaving them there, it's going to show that you have no qualified pipeline. Again, stressing the importance of using these stages. And then when you go to mark a deal 1, you would mark 1 or lost. To know what stage the opportunity should be sitting in, we have built in here for the sales reps use, scroll down, a bunch of check boxes. So none of these are reported on, and the rep can kind of use them as they please. But in reality, a deal should be sitting in qualifying until you can check box all of these. It should be sitting in discovering until you can check box these ones, etc. Again, this is just for the reps' help to keep them focused through the sales cycle. And then the last thing I'll say about stage is, depending on what stage it's in, it gives us a better way of forecasting. So if we see that deal is in the closing stage, we know that there's a better probability of us closing it versus sitting in the discovering stage. The next field that we were going to talk about is the forecast category and why that's important. And as a quick note, only the opportunity owner, so in this case Brian Kuchma, would be able to change the forecast category. So when I click edit, you can see it doesn't pop up for me. I don't know if some of you have noticed that if you're sharing opportunities. So what I'm going to do here is click into an opportunity that I own to click the Edit button and show you the options for forecast category. Going through these really quick, the first one, omitted, that should really only be chosen if you lost the deal. So if you mark a deal closed lost, it's going to automatically change the category here to omitted. That's primarily what we use it for. The next one, pipeline, that means it's an active opportunity that you're currently working. Best case means it is an active opportunity that you feel a really good chance of winning. So that's kind of your hot opportunities. And then commit is saying that you are going to commit to this opportunity, you're going to win it. You either have a verbal from the customer, you feel extremely confident that it's coming, you have the right time frame, you know it's going to close in the next 2 weeks, or you can put it out further if you want, as long as you know you're going to win it. So the reason these are important, we hold meetings every week for forecasting, and we're looking at all the deals sitting in the commit bucket and can count on that revenue. And then we look at all the deals sitting in the best case bucket and know that we have a strong possibility of adding this to our forecast. And then the other ones, pipeline, we could see that number, see that's still being actively worked, but not ready to move up yet. So again, this is important for our weekly reporting. Okay, moving on. We have a couple other fields here that I would like to talk about, as opportunity type is one of them. So click Edit. You'll see this is now a required field, and there's been a couple new additions here that you might not be aware of, which is why I just want to spend a minute talking about it. Going through each of these, so existing business, so that is an opportunity with a customer that you already have been working with. New business is, like it says, something new, it's a black box. And then these other ones, RFP bid, so that is an RFP, request for proposal, coming in that you're bidding on. And these new ones, so we have a run rate in here. You should rarely ever select this, if at all. The reason this was put in the US, we are using some run rate opportunities for forecasting purposes only. So some of our large partners, like a CDW, we want to forecast how much run rate they're going to get in a month. That's why it's put in there. All of my reporting excludes any opportunities marked run rate, and by definition, run rate opportunities don't belong in Salesforce. So unless you want to use this for a special case, I recommend not using it. The other one, gap. So in the US, we're underachieving plan, so we developed a gap plan to get additional revenue, and each rep was assigned different activities and tasks to do. By doing those activities, if it created any new opportunities, they were told to assign it to a gap, and it really counted towards their gap plan. In Europe, if you guys have gap plans or something similar, feel free to use this. You can run reporting based on it and so forth, but it's not required. Just wanted to explain what that was. And the last one, data.com. We purchased a tool, only limited licenses of data.com, which is actually a tool within Salesforce that allows you to search for different contacts. And if you were to find a contact and work an opportunity that developed into an opportunity, we would say, where did it come from, data.com. So we're testing this right now to see if we should roll it out. We only bought a few licenses to just test it at this point. So that's the opportunity type. The next one is product preference. We don't, since we have thousands of SKUs, we don't load them all into Salesforce, and we aren't able to pick individual SKUs. Instead, we use product preference, which is kind of a category of products. And why we like it is to be able to know quickly. We can run reports and see how much cabling deals do we have, how much cabinets, etc. You're allowed to pick multiple product preferences here as you go through the list. And as a quick note, we added a bunch of AV. Before it just said AV, and there might have been 1 or 2 options. Recently, in the last week, we added more detail here, as the product managers wanted to separate these out. Kind of similar to how we already had KVM separated out that you're familiar with. And then the last fields that we want to talk about today are the revenue fields. So when to populate these, what they mean, etc. So you only have to fill in the revenue fields, so Salesforce will make you, if you move the deal into the commit category or you mark the deal 1. What we're trying to get is, we know the projected deal value is your bookings amount. So in this specific opportunity, $37,000 is what you're going to book. How much of that, though, is going to actually ship out in the month you're going to close it? So the revenue first month means it looks at the projected close date, in this example, June, and it's saying how much of this bookings amount will ship out in June. In this case, we're saying all of it, $37,485. If that's not the case, maybe we don't have the inventory, maybe the customer doesn't want the revenue right away, you can put 0 in and then move this to revenue second month if we're going to ship it out in July. If it's going to be a rollout, maybe they're only rolling 5,000 out each month of the year, you can put 5,000 in each of these and just leave it. Point being is, these do not have to all add up to the bookings amount. We use this strictly for forecasting so we can know, great, we're going to book a $37,000 deal in June, but are we really going to be able to ship it or not? Once, after 3 months, we're only really looking at the quarter. The remaining balance goes to our backlog, and it's going to get captured. We just want to know in the next 3 months how much for forecasting purposes. We don't make you do it on deals just in your pipeline or best case, because oftentimes you won't know if you're actually going to close that deal, and you don't then check into the inventory or look and see if it could even ship, if the customer wants it, etc. But once you get to the commit or close 1 stages, we feel like you should know that information to your best ability. It's not going to be 100% accurate, we understand that, but it just helps, again, with forecasting. So with that, I think that explains all of the emails that Lucia had sent out over the past couple weeks on the really important fields on the opportunity. We're going to continue to send emails out. We'll pick a new topic category moving forward and keep the same format. And then at the end of the month, I'll hold another call. Feel free to jump on, ask questions, use this time to your advantage to learn more about the system. And as always, if you have questions in the meantime, feel free to email me. You can post in the chatter group, the sales training, in that group as well. So thanks again.